Asher, the gray tabby cat, began his journey with a genuine desire to make a difference in the lives of his fellow strays. He offered help and kindness, believing in the power of compassion to uplift those in need. However, as he faced the harsh realities of the streets, a seed of ambition took root within him. At first, Asher witnessed the injustices that plagued the stray population, the unequal distribution of resources, the constant battles for territory, and the absence of a stable order. Fueled by a sense of righteous indignation, he felt compelled to bring about change, to establish a system that would ensure fairness and protection for all. In his pursuit of this noble cause, Asher began employing strategies that pushed the boundaries of his moral compass. He learned to manipulate situations and exploit the weaknesses of others to further his own goals. At first, these tactics were justified as necessary for the greater good, but with each success, a hunger for power gnawed at his conscience. As Asher gained influence and respect among the strays, his thirst for power intensified. The praise and adoration he received became intoxicating, fueling his ego and blinding him to the consequences of his actions. The ends began to justify the means, and any remnants of his initial compassion were overshadowed by the allure of control. The more Asher tasted power, the more he craved it. He meticulously orchestrated alliances, manipulated rivalries, and eliminated those who stood in his way. The darkness within him thrived on the fear and subservience of others, driving him to become increasingly ruthless in his pursuit of dominance. With each act of aggression, Asher's goodness eroded further, replaced by a relentless thirst for power. His once benevolent intentions became clouded by a distorted sense of righteousness. He saw himself as the only one capable of bringing order to the chaos, even if it meant sacrificing his own compassion along the way. As Asher's reign tightened its grip on the stray population, fear and oppression became the norm. Any flickers of resistance were swiftly crushed, leaving behind a broken community that lived in constant subjugation. Asher's hunger for power overshadowed any semblance of fairness or justice, plunging the strays deeper into despair. The gradual progression of Asher's thirst for power showcased the dangerous allure and seductive nature of control. The once noble cat who had set out to make a difference lost sight of his original goals, succumbing to the darkness within his own heart. His story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the corrupting influence of power when unchecked, and the devastating consequences that can arise when good intentions are overshadowed by ambition. In the bustling city streets where Asher's thirst for power consumed him, there was another cat named Luna, who had been his unwavering companion since the beginning. Luna, a small and scruffy calico with fur as vibrant as autumn leaves, had stood by Asher's side, believing in his potential for good, even as the darkness in his heart grew. From their early days as mischievous kittens, Luna and Asher had explored the hidden nooks and crannies of the city together. They forged a bond that went beyond friendship, becoming siblings of the streets, relying on one another for comfort and protection. As Asher's ambitions took hold, Luna's attempts to guide him back to the path of compassion and justice became a challenging endeavor. She watched with a heavy heart as Asher succumbed further to his thirst for power, his once bright eyes now clouded with a hunger that overshadowed their shared past. In her relentless loyalty, Luna found herself swept up in Asher's ruthless pursuit, aiding him in his manipulations and compromises. She walked the tightrope of darkness, her once benevolent spirit now veiled in shadows. The weight of her choices and the toll of Asher's actions bore heavily upon her conscience, threatening to extinguish the flickering flame of hope within her. As Asher's reign of fear and oppression tightened its grip on the stray population, Luna's vibrant spirit dimmed. She witnessed the suffering of their fellow feline companions, their paws weakened by the weight of Asher's rule. The city's streets grew quiet and somber, a reflection of the darkness that now pervaded their lives. In the depths of despair, Luna yearned for a chance at redemption, a glimmer of hope that she could undo the damage they had inflicted upon the city's strays. She sought solace in the secret corners of the city, contemplating the choices that had led them down this treacherous path. However, the road to redemption proved elusive, its path obscured by the mounting darkness within Asher's heart. Luna's attempts to guide him back towards compassion were met with resistance and contempt. She discovered that the allure of power had transformed Asher into a stranger, a cat driven by ambition at any cost. In her final act of defiance, Luna confronted Asher with a mix of desperation and determination. Her voice quivered with the weight of the city's suffering as she pleaded for him to see the destruction they had caused. But her words fell on deaf ears as Asher, consumed by his hunger for power, turned a cold gaze upon her, dismissing her pleas with callous indifference. Trapped in a cycle of regret and despair, Luna found herself broken by the weight of her loyalty. The city's strays suffered under Asher's reign, and Luna bore the burden of guilt for her own complicity. Her once vibrant spirit withered, the fire within her fading to a mere ember. In the end, Luna's story serves as a cautionary tale, a haunting reminder of the dangers of blind loyalty and the devastating consequences of allowing darkness to overshadow our inherent goodness. Her unwavering support, once a beacon of hope, proved futile in the face of Asher's unrelenting thirst for power. As the city streets fell deeper into despair, Luna's spirit flickered away, her presence a mere whisper in the winds. Her story stands as a testament to the richness of our choices, the depths of our loyalties, and the tragic beauty that can be found in our unwavering devotion, even when it leads us down a path we never anticipated. In the city streets, Asher's tyrannical rule cast a suffocating shadow over the lives of the oppressed strays, exacerbating their struggle for survival. Among them was Milo, a resilient ginger tabby whose hunger mirrored the hunger for freedom that burned within his soul. Under Asher's iron fist, food became a scarce and coveted resource. Asher's enforcers, with their menacing presence, seized control of the city's food supply, hoarding it for themselves and ensuring that only the bare minimum trickled down to the suffering strays. The once plentiful scraps that sustained the feline inhabitants became a distant memory. Milo witnessed the decline in available sustenance, as the strays' emaciated bodies bore the telltale signs of malnutrition. The once bustling alleyways, which had been filled with the tantalizing aroma of discarded meals, now lay barren and devoid of nourishment. Each day, the search for sustenance became an arduous journey, as Milo and his fellow strays scavenged tirelessly, their bellies growling in hunger. Asher's enforcers were merciless in their efforts to maintain control. They patrolled the city, ensuring that any attempts to procure food beyond their watchful gaze were swiftly met with punishment. Fear gripped the hearts of the strays, their hunger magnified by the constant threat of retribution. As the strays grew weaker, their ability to resist Asher's rule dwindled. The scarcity of food only served to deepen the desperation and hopelessness that already loomed over their lives. The once bonded community of strays turned into competitors, each fighting for their own survival, their hunger blurring the lines of camaraderie that had once defined their unity. Milo, driven by an unyielding spirit, sought to alleviate the suffering. He became adept at navigating the city's hidden corners, discovering hidden caches of food left by kind-hearted souls or forgotten by the enforcers. These meager discoveries became precious lifelines as Milo carefully rationed and shared the scraps among his fellow strays. Despite Milo's efforts, the scarcity of food remained an ever-present obstacle. He witnessed firsthand the consequences of malnutrition as the weakened bodies of the strays struggled to fend off illness and fatigue. Desperation hung heavy in the air, overshadowing the flickers of hope that dared to persist. Milo's unwavering determination to resist Asher's rule became intertwined with the pursuit of sustenance. He organized covert expeditions, braving the enforcers' watchful eyes, in search of hidden food sources. These risky missions provided temporary relief, ensuring that his fellow strays received nourishment, if only for a fleeting moment. In the face of Asher's oppressive control, Milo's acts of kindness became small acts of defiance. By sharing what little food he could find, he reaffirmed the strength of compassion and solidarity within the strays. Each morsel offered was a reminder that, despite the scarcity, they could still support one another and foster a sense of unity in the face of adversity. While the struggle for food under Asher's rule remained an ongoing battle, Milo's relentless spirit burned brightly. He understood that food scarcity was not just a consequence of Asher's greed, but a tool used to maintain dominance over the strays. Milo's resolve to resist Asher's tyranny only grew stronger, as he recognized that their fight for liberation went hand in hand with their fight for sustenance. In the face of limited resources, Milo's unwavering spirit continued to fuel acts of defiance, offering nourishment not only to satisfy the strays' physical hunger, but also to sustain their collective will to challenge Asher's oppressive reign. In this fight for both survival and freedom, Milo became a symbol of resilience, embodying the unwavering determination to reclaim not only their right to eat, but also their right to live free from tyranny. Milo, the resilient ginger tabby, played a significant role in Asher's perspective and the unfolding narrative. From Asher's viewpoint, Milo was seen as a symbol of resistance, a thorn in his side challenging his rule. Despite their opposing viewpoints, Asher couldn't help but acknowledge Milo's unwavering determination and the influence he had among the strays. To Asher, Milo represented the idealistic side of the struggle, a relentless rebel who refused to succumb to the realities of the world they lived in. Asher viewed Milo's efforts to rally the strays against his rule as misguided, unable to comprehend how Milo could reject the stability and order he sought to bring to the city. Milo's acts of kindness and compassion, particularly his efforts to provide sustenance and support to the oppressed strays, were seen by Asher as misplaced idealism. From Asher's perspective, Milo's gestures were merely temporary alleviations to ease the suffering caused by the necessary measures he implemented. Asher believed that Milo failed to grasp the bigger picture and the sacrifices required for the greater good. As Asher's rule tightened, Milo became a persistent thorn in his side, organizing covert gatherings and offering hope to those who questioned Asher's intentions. Milo's resilience and determination to resist Asher's dominance served as a constant reminder of the dissent brewing beneath the surface. Despite their differences, Asher respected Milo's tenacity and influence. He recognized the impact Milo had on the strays, drawing them together and fostering a sense of unity in the face of adversity. Though their goals clashed, Asher could not deny Milo's ability to inspire and mobilize the very strays Asher sought to control. Throughout the story, the dynamic between Asher and Milo played out as a clash of ideals. Asher saw himself as a pragmatic leader, willing to make the tough decisions for the greater good, while Milo embodied the unwavering spirit of resistance, refusing to compromise on his vision of a more compassionate and equitable society. Their encounters, whether direct or indirect, became pivotal moments that tested both characters' resolve. Asher's perspective remained steadfast, his thirst for power unwavering, while Milo continued to challenge the oppressive rule, seeking to ignite the flames of hope and liberation within the strays. In the end, the clash between Asher and Milo represented the struggle between opposing ideologies and the complexities of leadership. Their interactions fueled the tension and propelled the narrative forward, with each character embodying distinct perspectives on what constituted the greater good and the lengths one should go to achieve it. In the heart of the bustling city, amidst the swirling currents of urban life, a remarkable cat named Nova emerged as a solitary figure. Born into the chaotic streets, Nova arrived in the world without the comfort and warmth typically found among the feline community. Her early days were marked by a profound sense of isolation, a feeling of being adrift in a sea of indifference. Nova's sleek coat, an exquisite blend of ebony and silver, mirrored the contrasting emotions within her. Her eyes, a striking shade of amber, held a glimmer of longing, a reflection of the warmth and connection she yearned for but never received from the other strays around her. As Nova grew, she found herself drawn to the shadows that enveloped the city. It was in these hidden recesses that she encountered Asher, a cat who embodied both power and charisma. Asher, with his commanding presence and imposing stature, exuded an aura of authority that both intrigued and intimidated Nova. Despite her own yearning for companionship, Nova hesitated to approach Asher. She sensed an underlying darkness within him, an insatiable thirst for control that made her wary. Yet, there was also a flicker of vulnerability in Asher's gaze, a glimmer of loneliness that echoed her own. As time passed, Nova and Asher's paths continued to intersect. Nova found herself reluctantly drawn to Asher's magnetic presence, his enigmatic nature both fascinating and troubling. They engaged in fleeting conversations, their exchanges filled with guarded words and unspoken understanding. While Nova never received the warmth and acceptance she longed for from the other strays, Asher became an unexpected source of connection in her life. Their interactions, though tinged with complexity, brought a semblance of companionship to Nova's solitary existence. Their conversations ranged from the mundane to the philosophical, as they explored the depths of their own vulnerabilities and aspirations. Nova discovered Asher's insatiable thirst for power, his unyielding desire to shape the world around him. She listened as he spoke of dominance and control, sensing the emptiness that lay beneath his grand ambitions. In turn, Asher glimpsed Nova's yearning for connection and understood the depth of her solitude. He saw in her a reflection of his own loneliness, a mirror to his suppressed desire for companionship. Their encounters, though fleeting, brought brief moments of solace amidst the chaos of the city. Together, Nova and Asher navigated the intricate dance between solitude and connection. They shared stolen moments of vulnerability, revealing fragments of their true selves to one another. In these moments, they found solace, a temporary respite from the relentless isolation they faced in the outside world. Despite the absence of a traditional support network, Nova and Asher embarked on a shared journey of self-discovery. They challenged each other's preconceptions, pushing the boundaries of their own understanding. Nova questioned Asher's insatiable thirst for power, encouraging him to consider the impact of his actions on those around him. Asher, in turn, probed Nova's reluctance to fully embrace connection, urging her to confront the fears that held her back. As their interactions deepened, Nova and Asher began to recognize the profound effect they had on each other. Nova's quiet strength and unwavering compassion began to temper Asher's thirst for dominance, while Asher's charismatic influence brought forth a resilience within Nova that she had never fully tapped into. Yet, despite the bond they shared, Nova remained steadfast in her belief that true change could not be brought about by one individual alone. She recognized the limitations of Asher's approach, understanding the potential for his hunger for power to overshadow any genuine transformation he might seek. Their relationship remained a delicate dance, a push and pull of opposing desires and ideologies. Nova served as a quiet guide, offering glimpses of a different path, one that embraced empathy and cooperation rather than dominance and control. Asher, though torn between his hunger for power and his longing for connection, struggled to fully reconcile the two. As time went on, Nova's connection to Asher became both a source of comfort and a reminder of the complexities of human relationships. Their interactions became a tapestry of contradiction, each moment filled with both tenderness and tension. While Nova recognized the seeds of change that could be sown within Asher, she also understood the limitations of her influence. Their story unfolded as a testament to the intricacies of connection and the delicate balance between solitude and companionship. Nova's journey with Asher became a reminder that even in the face of isolation, individuals can find glimpses of understanding and growth. It served as a vivid exploration of the human spirit, where the intertwining of contrasting souls can shape the paths they ultimately choose to follow. As the seasons passed, the city underwent transformations of its own. Asher, once a dominant force ruling over the strays, began to face unforeseen challenges to his authority. Dissent stirred among the feline community, fueled by whispers of change and the longing for a different way of life. Despite the shifting currents, Nova remained steadfast in her commitment to quiet resilience and compassion. She continued to be a beacon of solace for the forgotten, offering moments of understanding and connection in a world that often seemed harsh and indifferent. Meanwhile, Asher grappled with the echoes of his encounters with Nova. Her presence had planted seeds of doubt in his mind, sparking a yearning for something more meaningful than the pursuit of power. As he faced the changing tides of the city, he found himself torn between the path he had always known and the one Nova had hinted at, an elusive path that embraced empathy and cooperation. With the city in flux, Nova's influence began to ripple further than ever before. Her story of resilience and compassion spread among the strays, inspiring others to find their own inner strength and to reach out to their fellow felines with empathy and kindness. As more strays began to embrace Nova's principles, a movement of change took root in the city. The whispers of transformation grew louder, and the once unyielding walls of Asher's rule began to crack under the weight of discontent. In the midst of the shifting landscape, Nova found herself unexpectedly reunited with Asher. He sought her out, drawn to her presence once more, as he grappled with his own internal conflicts. Nova, with her wisdom and empathy, became a source of guidance for Asher as he navigated the turbulence of change. Through their conversations, Nova gently challenged Asher to consider the impact of his actions on the lives of others. She reminded him of the value of genuine connections and the power of compassion in shaping a more harmonious existence. Asher, in turn, questioned Nova's choice to remain on the sidelines, wondering if her influence could be the catalyst needed to create true change in the city. Their encounters were a delicate dance of emotions and conflicting ideals. As they explored the complexities of their own desires, they discovered a shared yearning for a city that embraced unity and understanding. With the city in a state of upheaval, Nova's influence began to resonate beyond the strays. Her story captured the attention of compassionate humans who sought to make a difference in the lives of the urban animals. Volunteers and activists joined the cause, providing food, shelter, and medical care for the strays, echoing Nova's message of compassion and support. As the movement for change gained momentum, Asher found himself at a crossroads. The thirst for power that had once consumed him now seemed hollow and fleeting, while the yearning for connection and understanding grew stronger within him. He realized that true power lay not in dominance, but in the ability to foster unity and empathy among the community he once ruled. In a moment of reckoning, Asher made a choice that would forever alter the trajectory of his life. He relinquished his grip on power and embraced a new path, one that aligned with Nova's vision of a city where compassion reigned supreme. Under Asher's newfound leadership, the city underwent a profound transformation. The once divided feline community now worked together, creating a harmonious coexistence between humans and strays. Together, they rebuilt the city as a place where empathy, compassion, and understanding thrived. Nova's journey had sparked a revolution of the heart, proving that even a solitary cat's presence could ignite a movement of change. Her story became a legend, passed down through generations, a testament to the enduring power of compassion and the potential for transformation that resided within each individual. And so, Nova's legacy lived on, her influence forever etched into the fabric of the city and the hearts of those she had touched. As the sun set over the urban landscape, A new era began, one where empathy and unity bloomed, and the city's inhabitants learned the profound lesson of compassion from a cat who had once roamed the streets alone. The city's transformation became a testament to the power of one cat's spirit to ignite a ripple effect of compassion, forever changing the lives of those she touched and leaving a lasting legacy of hope and unity for generations to come.